Assalamu alaikum Sayyidi.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Forgive me for the bad adab, but when we contemplate on the Shaykh, do we focus on the talks or just keep the mind clear and focus on the presence of our Shaykh?
When the talks are beginning, you make your connection ahead of time, has to be in the dress of the shaykh, and then connect with the knowledges that are being taught and write them down. But in the connection of the shaykh already, but you're not thinking about the shaykh at the same time, you should have done that before the talk begins. Enter into your muraqabah, enter into your connection, you visualize the connection and then you enter the association, enter the zikr. You don't have to keep trying to hold that connection, because that you should have practiced before. When you practice keeping your connection, then it becomes a second nature to you to visualize the madad that the shaykh dress upon my heart, and then I take my notes for the sohbat and I feel that I'm in his presence writing the notes. Because in the world of light everybody's in the presence of the shaykh. So that's where the talk is taking place, in the world of light. So it's not taking place on the camera, it's taking place in a world of light. And in that world of light you visualize yourself in the presence of the shaykh, and then you're writing your notes or making your muraqabah or doing any type of ibadah and worshipness that you're doing in the tafakkur and the contemplation and the madad with the shaykh, inshaAllah.
As-salamu alaykum Sayyidi.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
What are some examples of topics we should not cover or send out to people? What would be considered difficult or too much?
Well, anything that you think is just very high level. So always think that a couple of your relatives, maybe your children are in the room, and if you read that to them, would they try to fight you or throw something at you? Then don't do that. Because there's certain things I know that if I would have said, my relatives and people would have been like astonished and upset and not understanding what am I talking about. So knowledge is something that you have to speak to each person's level. If you think the people whom are watching your feed are very basic people, are you trying to attract them or make everybody run away? You can't impress them because not your knowledge, it's our knowledge. So you're just trying to get people to come to a reality, so make it easy. Make it something, oh this would be beneficial in these difficult times, people should learn how to meditate. What should people know about?
As-salamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Shaykh Nurjan. Thank you for watching the video that you're watching. InshaAllah, if you're happy with the content and happy with these programs, please support the button below, the programs that we have for our orphanage repairs, our water well, Give the Gift of Life, our mobile food vans. We have now 5 vans: Vancouver, Chicago, Los Angeles, Pakistan. There's many programs that reach thousands of people and rescue foods and give those supplies to people in need. Your support is greatly appreciated. Also, be so kind as to leave loving comments, and please share the stream. Every bit counts. As-salamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
About anger, what should people know about bad character, backbiting, slander, things that would help people. Not the nuqt is on here and it's like this, and then the people are like, what is this talking about? Especially when their feed are people that they've never heard from these people anything religious. All of a sudden you're talking about the impossible realities of the nuqt. So for what? Then other people are starting to make comments against us, oh they're just spreading things to confuse people. So we have to always be conscious that I'm trying to help the shaykh and not harm the shaykh, inshaAllah.
As-salamu alaykum Sayyidi.
Also for wa alaikum salam, also for images, that the image with the fingers like this is Buddhism. So they come against us for this. If you want to show somebody meditating, they just meditate in the presence of the shaykh, don't show specific to fingers and finger gestures, and then they say, oh look these people are Buddhists, these people are like this, these people like that. So again people are attacking. Just you don't have to be specific on finger movements and finger signs, just people sitting nicely meditating, the article is important. But when the image doesn't look right, people are like, oh maybe these are old Hindus and these people are Buddhists, what are these people doing? InshaAllah. What do you have a question?
Sayyidi, when we redirect our tawajjuh on the Ulul Amr and circumambulate them, the force that pulls us in is love. And would the force that keeps us at bay be our own sins?
This is like philosophy. That when you make your meditation, very simple English, you make your meditation, you're trying to connect and there's a limitation to every connection. So natural ego is, I want to reach the Divine Presence by tomorrow. So it's not going to happen. It's Allah that pushing back, saying, not yet. No doubt everybody has a desire to enter to the reality, especially after the Shaykh describes all the gifts in that reality, all the realities in that reality. Everybody thinks they're going to meditate in 5 minutes and reach into the inner circle and inner realities. So it's Allah stopping them. So there must be an attraction that Allah put into their heart, reach back to your reality. And as a result Allah puts another force saying, yeah, not so simple, but enough of a force in which they don't give up. So they say, okay it's achievable, I have to keep pushing through, I have to do what I have to do, I have to do my practices, I have to, and then Allah allows a little inch of a movement in, then they feel more energy. So it's like you're trying to rush into the nucleus and it's Allah's rahmah that begin to hold the servant back, correct yourself, perfect yourself, correct yourself, perfect yourself, and then allows another bit of movement in. But at the same time it's creating an immense spinning, because when you love something you don't stop, you keep going in all the different directions to enter into that reality. And that's what our hologram is all about. The reason we're a hologram is because this spinning love, all of them would wish to collide into the nucleus and collapse. But Allah doesn't allow the collapse until the person reaches their annihilation. When they annihilate, what happens? Allah allows them to enter in and the collapse is the state of death, in which they entered into that presence and their whole hologram collapsed. And as a result they entered into that reality, Allah charged them from their Divinely reality and then recharged the image to come back. Now it came back supercharged from their nucleus reality, from their soul reality. So that becomes the process of maut qabla al-maut, to reach. But Allah's not willing to let anyone reach. It says in the Qur'an, how can we give to you until we test you like those who came before you with your life, your family, your wealth and your possessions. All good people have been tested. And so this is the criteria to reach these realities, to be tested. So it's not a philosophy, it's a state of testing. And if we pass the test we go deeper into the reality. That's why they teach us to do what we do. You know that when the Shaykh is putting out that, give support, do these things so that you can reach your reality, that you can reach what you are created to reach of this immense gift that Allah wants to dress upon the servant. So this is an immense blessing. And people think, okay then the Shaykh benefits from these things, and say, of course the whole world benefits from a student who's been trained. Why would the Shaykh not benefit? He's the first one to benefit from the good deeds and good actions of his students, right? So parents call up, say, Shaykh I never took care of raising my son, now he's like a gangster, every time he comes he wants to kill me. Do you think that's better? Or a Shaykh who raised his students to take care of him and to be kind to him. And this is why the whole concept of tariqah, when you take a collective group and teach them good manners, the world will benefit. But the first one who benefits is the Shaykh, because he's not surrounded by wild dogs. If his career was to be surrounded by wild dogs, he wouldn't live more than a few weeks. We've had people come and try to do violence, but that's not the system. So the system is that teach them good, teach them good, teach them good manners, make the adab and the manners to be good. Of course then the shaykh is the first one to benefit from people whom have beatific characteristics, and then he sends them out into the world through the internet or through in person, and all of them should have good character and the world benefits. And that's the whole system of the tariqah. When you teach somebody to be charitable, well of course they're going to be charitable to you. They say, oh Shaykh benefited from, of course you Shaykh benefited from charitable students, kind students, but the world benefited. Because now these same students they go out and feed people. These same students go pick up, how many pounds of food you guys picked up last week? Like 2,000–3,000 pounds of food given out to all different community members and different religious backgrounds. Who benefited from that? Means the world benefits from a shaykh who teaches his students good character, good manners, versus a world now that nobody teaches anyone anything. Well, there are shaykhs out there who they talk very aggressive all the time, and they teach all their students to be like a Doberman, like an aggressive dog. What's the benefit of that? If you come in touch with them they bite you. That's not the way, that's not even the heavenly way. And for what was the benefit of that? The shaykh will be bitten one day, the one whom trains people to be aggressive wild fighting dogs. There was a guy who had a pit for dog fighting which is illegal, and he trained the dogs to be so vicious that one day when he became sick and ill the dogs ate his face. Because he was down, he trained them to be horrifically violent creatures, and the first violence they inflicted was on him. So this is not the system, the heavenly system. Teach them to be good, teach them to be generous, teach them to be kind, teach them to be loving. Why? So they'll be loving to you, and as a result of being loving to you they'll be loving to everybody, and the world will benefit from their presence. Even if there's 10 of them left on this world they will benefit. So we pray that Allah give us more and more himma, more and more ability, and that the students with all sincerity cooperate and participate, so that to make a change within themselves, and then the conditions around them begin to change, inshaAllah. InshaAllah.
As-salamu alaykum Sayyidi.
Wa alaykum as-salam wa rahmatullah.
On Bismillahir Rahmanir Raheem, if it holds the secret of the 5 holy souls and we are supposed to say Bismillah before anything we do, is our entire existence based on the 5 holy souls?
You can put it this way, because the scholars don't like these answers. If these 5 holy souls were not in existence, not me nor you would be in existence. So Allah wanted to be known and created Muhammadun Rasulullah. The same creator created the family souls. Family souls are family souls, there's no comparison to anyone who has a family, they know their family is family. And then Allah created the holy souls of companions, and those are companions who would accompany the reality. These are not something that can be replicated, and we describe that in the reality of hearing. I don't think anybody ever asked questions on hearing. So what does hearing mean? The maqam of hearing is the maqam of power, right? Anyone whom hears means their soul has a power. The one who hears nothing, soul has no power. The one whom hears Allah must have shadeedul quwwah, must be immensely powerful, because sound is what makes everything manifest. Sound comes out, makes energy, energy makes lights, lights make form. The sound of Allah nothing can contain. Allah says, if I make my sound, if I reveal Qur'an onto the mountain, what happens? The power's too much, the mountain doesn't exist at that vibration and would be nothing. Not an angel, not a prophet, not anything in creation can hear the sound of Allah except Muhammadun Rasulullah. So means hearing has to do with the power of the soul. So the one whom hears is a sign of the power of their soul, right? So then who are the holy companions whom they heard the voice of Prophet whom heard the voice of Allah, and that's why you cannot compete with the companions because the power of their soul, the immense power of their souls. That what Allah created these souls anciently to be able to hear the sound of Prophet's voice. That was a direct reflection of Allah's Divinely sound. What was that? What is it imaginable? It's not imaginable. Means these are the realities and haqqaiqs of the world of light, and that's why all these teachings people have to meditate and contemplate and take a note and say that, what is this reality of hearing? And this reality of hearing has a direct correlation to the power of the soul, it's not something small. So, I don't need to hear anything, of course you don't, because that means your soul has no power. And your whole training is to hear, you have to hear, because you want your soul to have power. Do you hear yourself even? People can't even hear themselves, so how do they think they have power?
As-salamu alaykum Sayyidi.
Wa alaykum salam wa rahmatullah.
Sayyidi, you said Allah is not within us. If I understood is correct, but then what does it mean when it is said Allah is closer to you than your jugular vein?
We talked about that. That Allah is the power of every soul, but Allah is not within you. Allah is the power and the qudra that powers everything. And that qudra is found within the light of Muhammadun Rasulullah. That you can ask the AI so it can give you the summary of all the articles. That's this an entire summary of all of these articles and all these teachings, right? So it's like how we would understand wireless power, wireless Wi-Fi. So if my device on my phone is a device, how is it able to make a phone call when I'm not plugged into a telephone line like old time technology? Because the energy that's around is powering that device. But is the energy in any one particular place that I go and I stand in that place and it pulls it in, or it's just the energy of everything around us? So the haqqaiq of this creation is that we said energy breaks down to what is the lights and the molecular and atomic reality, and then the form. So this light is what? It's called Muhammadun Rasulullah. Everything is in the ocean of Muhammadun Rasulullah. The chair, the wood, the me, the you, the creatures, everything is in this ocean of Muhammadun Rasulullah. From where? The same formula, from lights. So before the form, and the fact that you have a form means that it's coming from the atoms and the lights, what they call quantum study, quantum physics. They understood everything as a light, that light called Muhammadun Rasulullah. That light to be existing is from an energy. That energy to be existing is from a praise, string theory, praise, sound and vibration. What Allah says, yusabbihu wa bihamdi, bihamdi. Everything is praising me in the reality of bihamdi. Who's hamdi? Muhammad. So Allah is the power that makes this praise that creates an energy. As a result of that energy the light is manifesting. So Prophet manifests by the dhikr of Allah, inshaAllah.
As-salamu alaykum Sayyidi.
Wa alaykum salam wa rahmatullah.
Do we have a presence always amongst the angels of the qalb, receiving from them lights and blessings and inspirations?
From the angels of the qalb receiving lights and inspirations, that we are surrounded by angels in every aspect of our wujood and our existence. And everything from dhikrullah, every amr, every order and command, like the secret of the Wi-Fi, that everything is emanating from the heart of Prophet as a Wi-Fi for us just to understand. So what does the Surat al-Qadr describe? Malaikati wa ruh bi-idhni rabbihim kulul amr. So the ruh is a Muhammadan authority and all the malaika they are sending out that signal, they are the signal moving, taking every amr, kullul amr, every single command is moving through the Muhammadan authority with the angels, coming from and bi-idhnillah, with the permission of Allah is emanating. So the entire universe is on a Wi-Fi and the angels carry the signals and the amr. Why? Because the angel hits the flower and gives it sustenance, gives its command how it's supposed to grow, how it's not supposed to grow. Everything is sustained on this wireless network. That's why we have it in our world just to understand, right? We didn't get back into wireless power, we had wireless power. They destroyed it and brought us back to combustion so they could make money. But there was at a time where everything was wireless. It's free in the atmosphere and they would make devices, pull the energy and things would move. There are people who are making water out of the atmosphere. They have generators where they're called atmospheric water generators. They turn it on and water comes out because Allah gave us everything. But these crooks want to sell everything. So they tell us there's no water, water is a shortage, and you spend now in a bottle of water more than gasoline because they poisoned the free water and now we have to pay for drinking water. But they actually have technologies where they turn a generator on and begins to produce water because it's in the atmosphere, it's free. Allah is self-sustaining. Do you think Allah created this creation and we needed to put other things together to sustain it? That He needed our support and help? That I'll create you only half of the way, the rest you guys are on your own. Figure out what to do and how to have power down there. Or everything was already sustained, it's free from Allah. The pyramids were a power source based on the sun. The sun is an immense power source that never needs recharging. But do they give you a technology to use that sun? No, because everything on this dunya again is to destroy people and charge people. InshaAllah.
As-salamu alaykum Sayyidi.
Wa alaykum salam wa rahmatullah.
Sayyidi, from what we understood, the basement has many negative energies. Can we store our food in the basement for preparation purposes?
Yeah, the example of the basement in life means if you go to the basement of life where all the people are hanging downstairs with lower desires, that has nothing to do with the basement of storage and putting a facility of storing food in the ground. This was a traditional canning where they say the Chechen and the Dagestanis were expert in this reality of jarring and storing food. So they have a whole system. You probably can look through social media and look at their more ancient system. I think if they go 5 feet, 6 feet down where old time basements used to have a cellar that you could store because the temperature is constant 4 or 5 feet underground. So that becomes a free refrigeration. And as a result the art of canning, they can food and they seal it, boil it, pull out all the air and lasts for years. And they can all vegetables, all fruits, all meats. So this is a system in which to preserve food, and in rural areas they would prepare and store food throughout the year so that they didn't die in the winter time. But that has nothing to do with the story of the basement and taking our lives to go down to the lower level people whom are heedless and nafs amara. So each floor was like a level of the nafs. It was an example not to go to the people of amara and just want to party, destroy other people and destroy their souls, is to take our life to always go up and to ascend into the heavens inshaAllah, but not based on food preparation. InshaAllah. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifoon wa salaamun al mursaleen walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Ila Shaykh Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sahbihi kiram wa ala mashayikhina fi tariqatina Ahmadiyyah al-Aliyya wa sa'ir wa sadatina wa siddiqina. Al-Fatiha.
As-salamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Shaykh Nurjan. Thank you for watching the video that you're watching. InshaAllah, if you're happy with the content and happy with these programs, please support the button below. The programs that we have for our orphanage repairs, our water well, Give the Gift of Life, our mobile food vans. We have now 5 vans: Vancouver, Chicago, Los Angeles, Pakistan. There's many programs that reach thousands of people and rescue foods and give those supplies to people in need. Your support is greatly appreciated. Also, be so kind as to leave loving comments and please share the stream. Every bit counts. As-salamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.